Towards the end of 2001, you returned to India to join HRI. Also, I think during that time you were visiting member at Institute for Advanced Study, Princeton. So when I looked at your research, it is during this time that you authored a notable number of research articles independently. And also, I think that this was the phase when you were transiting from doing independent research to advising students. So, could you tell us about your transition during this phase and how you started advising students and little bit about that experience, the change in
Yeah,
times?
no, again, that's another phase that you have to develop into. So, as we just discussed, in all these places in Princeton and Harvard, there were always a lot of people to talk to. It was always very vibrant. I mean, the postdocs, the students, large numbers of people in this area, and visitors, seminars. There's a lot of churn. And that's, of course, very intellectually stimulating, and all the work was very nice to be part of it. But again, I wanted to return to India, and so I did that. And the idea was, again, I wanted to do something not the most standard thing. This is, in a sense, why I also went to HRI in Allahabad. I don't know if people have, not many people know about HRI, but it's a very nice little institution in the banks of the Ganga in Allahabad. And it was a wonderful place. 13 years, I think, I spent there. And it was, in a way, an ideal of a kind of an ashram for physics and mathematics. And so it was a very different change of pace from the very busy Harvard, Princeton type of thing to this very quiet place. Though, of course, we had a very good string theory group, and including Ashok Sen and many others also. And and we were starting to get some very good students also in HRI. So HRI, there was a feeling of kind of, it was a new institution, a new campus. In fact, the office building hadn't even fully come up by the time I had joined. So in a certain sense, in the campus and all that was new. I mean, the institute had existed earlier. So the graduate program was just beginning. The first year when I taught there were only 3 students in my class, and so it was a different. And I was also wanting to think about things from a more basic first principles point of view and understand
Hmm.
some things sort of. So I was trying to arrive at that, and I think in those years, the initial years, especially 2004 and so on, I think began to crystallize my approach, which in a sense has remained for, I mean, it has taken on many new avatars and other directions also, but that theme has remained strongly building on my earlier work also, and on the same question that we talked about earlier about gauge theories and string theories. Any case, yes, with students, then I took on my first student from that first batch, who is now a faculty member at IISER Bhopal, and it was very good to have that feeling of imparting a training to a student. But once again, the same questions that you face as a student, at some level you also face as an advisor, especially at the beginning, because you have to suggest a problem that is doable. You have to kind of, because that's your job as a guide, to make sure that at least the first problem or first couple of problems are doable problems. So it was a bit of a struggle to find that right this thing. You don't want to give them a problem which you can only do in 20 years. So you want a PhD, there's a finite time, and the students have to publish papers and other things. Even if I didn't feel the pressure to publish so much, the students would feel. So it would be unfair on them to kind of give them some very tough problem and expect them to make headway on it. So yeah, so that challenge was there, and I think Shivankar, my student, he took it on very well, and he did very well for himself, and he is having an active research career now, and also shaping other students in IISER Bhopal. And then I took on other students as well. I think I don't take on too many students. I think maybe only because I think Somehow I can work with maybe one or two students at a time, but not with like too many students. So I've kind of always had not more than one or two students at any given time.